He got 40 goals and 100 points, and he has been a huge part of the Calgary Flames clinching the Pacific Division regular season title. But has he gotten enough appreciation for the work that he's done this year? We discussed that on the Shifts and Bucks podcast.
Given a lot of love to Johnny Gaudreau over the season. Excuse me, with great reason. And he hit 600 points on this road trip. He's got over 100 points. He's pissed off Jim Matheson. He's plus 60. All of that sort of stuff. Who we've not given a lot of love of, and probably one of the quietest 100-point seasons that is Matthew Tkachuk. And I thought today we should start by giving some love to Matthew Tkachuk. Well, next week I'm going to present my awards, and you'll probably hear Johnny in that. But we won't hear Matthew in awards. Matthew is not going to be nominated for any awards. Matthew is, the Flames fans enjoy him. He's detested by the rest of the league fan base. Of course, especially Canuck fans are angered always about the Yo Levy pick there as well. But, Matthew has this reputation of being Matthew Tkachuk. And there's so many questions about his future with the Flames, but a quiet 99. He's about to get 100 points. He just needs 1 point for that within the next 5 games. He should get that. I just think that this guy has been a really solid teammate this year. Like, yes, he's mostly he worked with Lindholm and Gaudreau, played a little bit with Backlund. After all of the nonsense that happened last year with the puck flip and with Jake Muzzin during the bubble, he's become a professional hockey player, like a true professional. We can count on Matthew Tkachuk to get things done. And I don't think that I don't even think the Flames market is giving Matthew the credit that he deserves.
He definitely does deserve a lot of credit this year, especially having a bounce back year from last year. As you mentioned, and we've mentioned multiple times on this podcast, the puck flip incident with Jake Muzzin. It's amazing that he is 9th in assists, 9th in goals, and 6th in overall scoring in the NHL this year. And it is pretty quiet considering the company that he has within points. Obviously, you have number 1, Huberdeau, McDavid, Gaudreau, Draisaitl, Austin Matthews. Then it goes Matthew Tkachuk, and Mitch Marner and Kirill Kaprizov are just below him in points. That's it. Some might say that, it's a contract year, and that he really the good majority of the time, if you're a high-end skill player who is in a contract year, you play a little bit harder. There's a little bit more on the line for you to make sure you get a contract that is worthy of your status. And as of right now, Matthew Tkachuk, I think he's kind of coming back. As far as I'm concerned, he's come back into the conversation as potentially being a potential captain moving forward. I think you still need to see maybe one more year of maturity. Obviously, he's not going to be getting any Lady Bing awards ever, but you got to think that he's solidified himself within that locker room and really become a massive focal point. Not saying he wasn't before, but within this year, he really has solidified himself. Now, not to bring it down just a bit, but he's going to have to show it in the playoffs as well. Yep. He's been very quiet. He's only been there once, I believe, right?
Well, yes, he was there once. He was there for Anaheim, and then he had the concussion during the bubble year.
Right. So he's been pretty quiet through both of those, and Johnny Gaudreau is the same way. Both of them need to be at their A game and not fading away into the night like they have been in former playoffs. But hey, no. But the regular season, hats off to Gaudreau and Tkachuk, and it is kind of weird how quiet Tkachuk has done this.
Yeah, I like it's not because I don't think like you look at Johnny Gaudreau when he scores or it's an assist, it's highlight reel, right? Like it's the example the goalie scored it Johnny scored in Chicago where he went to grab a hot dog downtown, catch the baseball game at Wrigley Field, and then come back to the United Center and then shoot the puck and score. Right. So he did, he does these Johnny does these highlight moves. Matthew just puts the puck in the net. And then the only time that you really see a highlight with Matthew Tkachuk is if he's pushing and shoving or anything like that. But he's like in any sort of like it's any sort of beautiful goal. Matthews doesn't score beautiful goals. Like that's not like I mean, unless it's a puck, it's between the legs. I mean, he does have the skills, but it's not. I don't know. It's not as sexy / spectacular as what Johnny Gaudreau does. So we don't see the highlights from Matthew Tkachuk.
It's more so meat and potatoes hockey.
Yeah.
Right. It's hardworking goals that, aren't really skillful, like you said, but he does have that skill set, but I think he chooses it wisely when he does use it, because it does catch people off guard a little bit. And I think there's a nice little mix of meat and potatoes hockey along with having the hockey sense. I talked about this on our last podcast. Hockey sense, I think, is one of the most underrated attributes that a player could have. You could have massive, a great shot. You could have a hard shot. You could have like decent passing, but hockey sense, that's something you can't really learn. You can't really learn. You're kind of born with it, essentially. And Matthew Tkachuk, obviously with his bloodlines, him and his brother, and obviously Keith Tkachuk, his dad, are, born and bred to play hockey.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They love the game. They love to be in the fabric of the game. And yeah, he's also 50. This may surprise you. Here's a couple. I mean, 50% in the face-off circle. I mean, for a winger, not bad, right? Like,
how many face-offs does he have? I'm kind of curious. Does it say?
Let me pull us up here as we do fantastic podcasting again here.
I always ask the questions that we don't have anything really lined up for, so my apologies.
No, that's good. I pulled this up as we were going here. Let me go here. But and what he's got a plus 52 here. Like so, I mean, despite what something about plus minus to be in the plus 50s, Johnny Gaudreau is a plus 60, plus 50. That's damn like. No matter what analytics that you look at, that is, or how you look at that stat, the plus minus that's a damn pretty impressive stat.
I think the ones that plus minus for the middle third of the NHL, it doesn't really make too much sense. But the outliers of the low negatives and the very high positives, I think those are things that people do need to take into account when they look at plus minus.
Yeah, I mean, especially when it's something like that significant, right? And and it is. I'm not seeing his face-off stats here.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. Not a big deal. And he has another thing I think that is not really. It's hard to get tangible evidence on why some players have a higher game-winning goals than others, but he has 6 game-winning goals. So and the most in the NHL is 11 with Leon Draisaitl, and then you have Jason Robertson and Chris Kreider tied for second with 10. I think that is an underrated stat. I know once again, I know it's the analytical people probably have their reasoning and use that to a certain extent on why the numbers are the way that they are. But I feel like that's an underrated one.
Yeah. He is a typical what you need for the playoff type of performer. He plays in all situations. He'll score a goal when you absolutely need it. And he'll come up with a play when you absolutely need it. Like he's yeah, he's an X factor, and he's going to have to be that for the Flames to get on to the next round or the next step here in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And we saw this last night. I don't think that whoever the first round matchup is, I think that the 2018-2019 season taught us not to take anyone lightly. And I think if you watched Nashville last night, they are not going to go away very quickly. So you're going to need Matthew Tkachuk to be successful.
What do you think? Tell us what you think about Matthew Tkachuk. Follow us on Twitter at Shifts and Pucks, Facebook.com, Shifts and Pucks, YouTube.com, Shifts and Pucks, Twitch.com, Shifts and Pucks. Subscribe wherever you get your audio, as well as on the Area 51 Sports Network.